Day 82 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration. I'm still not a self-help guru. I'm still just trying to help myself. The 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration initiative, the movement, the ideology. It isn't just for those who want to ignore the Trump administration or the leader of the Trump administration. It isn't exclusively for the left or the right or the middle. Ignoring the Trump administration isn't even just for Americans. 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration is global. On day 82 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration, this is a global movement because what the Trump administration and the leader of the Trump administration represents is an affront to all people from all walks of life. In case you didn't know, we are living on a grain of sand that is hurtling through space, and that is a weird thing to contemplate. But on this grain of sand, we all need some very basic things, and I'm talking about every single person. We need food, water, clothing, sleep, and shelter. Food, water, clothing, sleep, and shelter are things we can all agree on. If all people could come together and recognize we're just here temporarily on this grain of sand, then we should be able to give each other those 5 basic necessities without concerning ourselves with such a thing as ridiculous made-up borders. Now, I'm not saying anything political related to open borders. I'm talking about the open borders of our hearts and minds that allow us to understand and behave with the knowledge that we personally benefit when everyone around us benefits. And when I'm talking about living on a tiny grain of sand, even someone on the other side of the planet is still pretty damn close. Now, culturally, politically, ideologically, people are different. They have different views on the world, and those views are subject to finding mutual acceptance and understanding. This is something that we will always be working to achieve, and we should, because we will always have differences. These are differences with people as close as the other side of the world and people who are even closer on the other side of the street. Even though your next door neighbor might have a completely different point of view than you, we can agree that we need food, water, clothing, sleep, and shelter. And if the leader of the Trump administration makes it difficult to have those things, then maybe we can also agree to ignore the Trump administration. Day 83 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration. Am I a self-help guru? No. Am I trying to help myself? You betcha. I am tired on day 83 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration, and I know you must be tired too. Please tell me how tired you are on a scale of 1 to 100 in the comments. I would say I am about a 73. I know you must be tired too because exhaustion isn't something that is only physical. It's mental, it's spiritual, it's emotional. We need to feel tired sometimes and acknowledge it so we can contrast that feeling with the times when we are feeling so alive. It's a natural state of being. Unlike the members of the Trump administration who claim to be religious people, I state honestly that I am not religious. I am Jewish ethnically, but I was not bar mitzvahed. I own a menorah, and even though I am lit, I have never lit it. But I do understand religious people, or more accurately, I respect people of faith. And even more accurately, I respect people of faith who respect faith and believe that there is something more important in the universe than themselves. I believe that faith requires one to be very demure, very mindful. You don't need to be out here like all these Trump ladies sending thoughts and prayers on social media every 5 minutes. What I know of faith is that it is personal and private. Nothing about the Trump administration is personal or private, except for their chats on public apps about bombing civilians. Do you think they sent thoughts and prayers to the families of the people they killed? Let me know in the comments. Even though I am not religious, I will talk to myself as if I am looking for guidance from somebody. For example, Josh, what are you doing? You're not going to be able to sustain 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration? When I'm saying this to myself, I'm not contemplating giving in. I'm just trying to get myself to admit that I'm tired. Josh, you're just tired. Go take a nap, or take a break, or take a deep breath. When it comes to 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration, it means ignoring the Trump administration, because ignoring the Trump administration can be tiring too. Taking care of your faith, even if it is faith in yourself, is discipline. And I wish that the members of the Trump administration had that same discipline to take a break from whatever it is that motivates them to do the harm that they do. Maybe they're exhausted too. Maybe for a day, they could also ignore the Trump administration. Day 84 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration. I am not a self-help guru. No, I'm just trying to help myself. Are you a comically irritable person like me? Please let me know in the comments. I have talked about how comically irritable I am because when I am confronted with big problems, I rise to the occasion. But little things, they bug the holy hell out of me. That is why I ignore the Trump administration. The leader of the Trump administration makes so many ridiculous statements every day. The best thing I can do is use this reality to improve. But as I have also said and am affirming again on day 84 of ignoring the Trump administration, I am putting in the work to train my mind to stop noticing little annoyances and from letting them annoy. When I do notice, because it is impossible to always ignore annoyances like the Trump administration, for example, I want to laugh at them and myself for noticing. I want to embrace laughing at myself and the world around me and take more chances to find the relationships and experiences that will keep me laughing. I have noticed that the negative comments on these videos have died down because the negative commenters who would typically leave angry messages attacking me personally over my criticisms of the Trump administration and the leader of the Trump administration don't seem to have much to say to me when I am here talking about becoming a better person and referencing the idea of ignoring the Trump administration as a starting point. The first time I went viral on TikTok, I did what many creators do and started posting random videos to keep the excitement going. One day, I saw a car in front of me with the bumper sticker that said "Straight Pride." Obviously, I made fun of it, but my commentary wasn't clever or humorous. It was just angry. The comments section went ballistic, and one commenter I responded to, who was particularly nasty, said at the end of the exchange, "Just post positivity, dude." That really stuck with me. That lucid moment with a supporter of the Trump administration gave me something of value to take away that I am still thinking about 2 years later. Posting positivity isn't about spreading good vibes. It's about letting go of negativity. That is posting positivity. There is a way to talk honestly about what's going on in the world and in our lives in a way that is realistic, but still positive. It's even possible to laugh when the little annoyances become bigger than little. I am working every day to become an expert at this, and one way to do that is to continue to ignore the Trump administration. Day 85 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration. I am not a self-help guru. Would you stop? Just trying to help myself. Come on. Sean comments that on a scale of 1 to 100, he is at a 125. Tired of him. Well, Sean, I understand the feeling. Thank you for submitting your score. However, since it is 25 points higher than the 1 to 100 scale, I will not accept it. Not because I am the comically irritable person who is a stickler for rules, as I admitted to being yesterday, because how can a person not get irritated when the members of the Trump administration and the leader of the Trump administration break every rule and norm we have, but because I want you to take another reading and get your level of exhaustion down below 100. We have many days to go here at 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration, and every day will present a new challenge, a new absurdity, and a new disrespect to our reality that we will have to choose how to deal with on the fly. The Trump administration seems hell-bent on carrying out the personal agenda of the leader of the Trump administration, regardless of how his behavior and the behavior of those around him that he encourages and condones negatively affect the lives of the people he swore an oath to the Constitution to protect. Naturally, this uncertainty and instability is tiring. I said I was at a 73 on day 83. Here on day 85, I am about at a 68, and that's not bad at all for a Monday. I said it before, it is okay to be tired. We need to rest to recharge. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger is a cliche, but it is a cliche because it is true. We will persevere through this moment in history, our moment in history, a moment in history that we can be proud of having survived, and we will. And we will laugh about it. As I said yesterday about being comically irritable, I am working on it. I am working on not noticing what I typically find irritating. And when I do notice, I want to laugh about being so easily irritated. We will laugh about the Trump administration and the leader of the Trump administration one day. And I don't mean we'll make fun of it. We already do that. We'll laugh because it will be funny that we all went through this together. We need our tired score low enough so that our laughter can be loud enough to honor those who didn't make it and fell to the chaos caused by the callous, compassionless, and cruel charade called the Trump administration. We will never ignore them, Sean, but we will ignore the Trump administration. Day 86 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration. I am not a self-help guru, though at this point I kind of wish I was. I'm just trying to help myself. The Trump administration is really making me want to ignore the Trump administration. It's getting pretty bad. The leader of the Trump administration has filled the Oval Office with gaudy gold decor to distract us from the sight of him, with the president of El Salvador laughing about kidnapping innocent people and building prisons. Is there a 186 in this series, or will I be 86th on day 86? I don't know. Unfortunately, we deserve to be this close to horror. We deserve to be so close to it touching our personal lives. We have it so easy that we can have food delivered straight to our mouths 24 hours a day. We don't fully know how fragile society is and how it is an agreement among us all to live peacefully, or at the very least to try to live peacefully. If you want a piece of entertainment that illustrates how close we are to horror and how deserving we are of the horror that we're so close to, go watch Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained. This will give you an idea of what it was like in the antebellum South. Take a quick look at how close we are to horror. Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia was living his life legally in the United States. The Trump administration admitted that he was sent to a prison in El Salvador by mistake, and the Trump administration has now been ordered in a 9-0 decision by the Supreme Court to arrange for Garcia's return. So far, they are defying that order. People are being taken who should not be taken, and people accused of crimes are being taken without any due judicial process. If Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia isn't returned alive, just know that anyone could potentially be taken and not returned alive. We are experiencing a breakdown of the system where laws are no longer being adhered to or applied by the people who are supposed to make and enforce these laws. If this foundational breakdown never touches your life personally, consider yourself lucky. Quentin Tarantino's revisionist history is a fantasy. It is entertainment. We can't revise history, even though the leader of the Trump administration is certainly trying to. However, we can change the future if we continue to ignore the Trump administration. Day 87 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration. I'm not a self-help guru. I'm just trying to help myself. It is day 87 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration. And do you know what day 87 is? Well, get out your noisemaker, get out your streamers, get out your balloons, get out a big piece of cake or several pieces of cake for several friends, because it is time to celebrate 6%. We are 6% through 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration, and we are surviving, we are thriving, we are not unaliving. And isn't that what the point is? To stay strong, to enjoy ourselves, to enjoy our lives, and to be there for the people around us who might be freaking out slightly harder than we are. I have my good days, I have my bad days. I have days where I'm good 1 minute, and then I'm bad 1 minute. And I think it's going to be a roller coaster like that for a while. But what I know right now, in this very moment, as I am speaking to you, is that we are 6% through. And I think that when we get to 10%, that's an excellent time for you to send me donations to thank me for this great work. I'm just kidding, but not. Because it is work. I mean, I am here doing this, and I appreciate you watching and sharing this experience that we are forced to experience. Please let me know in the comments if this work is affecting your life in a negative way, in a positive way, or just in a who is this guy on my screen and how can I press that not interested button very quickly kind of way. Just a reminder here on day 87 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration, the point of this exercise is to cut down on consuming as much information as we might want, because we are searching and looking and hoping for answers that we are not going to receive. And two, as we consume less news and we consume less rhetoric and we consume less propaganda coming out of the Trump administration and from the leader of the Trump administration, we will have more time on our hands, and using that extra time to do things for ourselves, to do things for our loved ones and friends that are positive, that are uplifting, and that give them a chance to escape from the doldrums of their life is what we are doing here. So, let me remind you once again on day 87 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration to continue to ignore the Trump administration. Day 88 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration. I am not a self-help guru. My name is Josh Bloom. Just trying to help myself. I drove by an accident that had just taken place on the way here this morning. It reminded me of the song Motor Crash by the Sugar Cubes. Were you aware that Bjork was in a band before she went solo? Let me know in the comments. Everyone was okay, but the cars were crunched up and it looked like someone had run a stop sign. It was at an intersection in my town where people tend to run stop signs. It was strange to see this on the morning after reading yesterday in the Reddit group for Westchester County, New York, where I live, about people no longer obeying the most basic rules of the road. Like, if they can run a stop sign, they run it. If they're at a red light, no one's there, they go through it. I have noticed this kind of behavior myself for a very long time, and as I have commented recently, I'm trying to be less irritated when I see behavior like this, which is important. On the other hand, while being irritated by bad behavior is one thing, being aware of dangerous behavior is another. When I would see dangerous behavior throughout my life, I would wonder, well, if they'll break this rule, what other rules will they break? That's why I get irritated. It makes me feel like people like this are breaking the most basic social contracts. Where does it end? And now that we have the leader of the Trump administration who pays no mind whatsoever to any social or institutional norms, people who are inclined to run stop signs or drive through red lights feel like, well, I guess I can do that now anytime I want without worrying whatsoever about what it might mean to people around me. That is different from wondering what it means to get a ticket or be pulled over. It's worse than that, way worse than that, because it's about not caring about your fellow man. When you have the leader of the Trump administration who does not care about his fellow man, and that same person, the leader of the Trump administration, is enjoying going the extra mile to put people in dire circumstances, such as uncertainty about their future, uncertainty about their finances, in some cases, uncertainty about their freedom, it leaves people feeling, well, what does it matter anyway? Even his supporters are feeling the strain of his trickle-down indecency. And so I ask you to drive defensively, friends. It's what you can do to keep your life distant from confusion, chaos, and collision. Don't be a person who ignores stop signs, and don't stop ignoring the Trump administration.